All right, YouTube. So we're back here at the package bees, the 2 hives that we started last week. Today is day 9 of this excursion. If you recall, in the last video, we visited them on day 4. We verified that the queen was loose and that they were building comb, laying eggs, things like that. So we're here again now. It's day 9. I'm sure that they're out of syrup at this point. So we're definitely going to fill the feeder. We're going to determine today, do they have enough comb? Are they ready to have another box built? If you're a beginner beekeeper, this time of year is especially important because bees can build up a whole box in a week. And if you're not on top of it, you could potentially face, an absconsion where the bees will just leave the hive. They'll feel they don't have enough room. They may become nectar bound, something like that. The queen doesn't have enough room to lay. They don't have enough room for the anticipated growth, and they may exit and look for another place to live. So we want to make sure that we're staying on top of this. We are feeding them pretty heavily, and so they should be drawing out this box very quickly. So it's a good chance that we will need to add a second layer of frames today. The other thing that we're going to check is to make sure that the queen is still laying eggs, right? She was released on day 3 or 4 possibly. And so we will expect to see brood that is probably 3 or 4 days old. We will not see any capped brood since they do that on day 10. At this point, it's very important to understand the bee's life cycle so that you can determine what's happening in the hive, right? And we know that eggs, once the queen lays an egg, they remain an egg for 3 days, and then they turn into the larval stage. On day 10, they will cap that off. And then on day 21, worker bees will emerge. And so if today is day 9 and we can assume the queen was released on day 3, that means that possibly we have 3-day-old brood in there in the larval stage. They're still about a week away from being capped. And so we're going to inspect today. We're going to add some sugar syrup. We're going to continue to feed them through this week. And we're not going to really do another whole inspection until a week from now. And at that point in time, we should almost certainly see capped brood. So it's important to understand this because this will help you to determine, especially if you're a beginner, this is all new to you, and you don't really understand what you're looking at. Knowing the life cycle can help you determine if they're on track, do you need to intervene, etc. So let me go ahead and move this camera and we'll get this hive cracked open and see what's popping in there. All right. So we've got our smoker lit. We're not going to need to smoke them a whole bunch, but we are going to let them know we're coming, right? Give them a little puff at the door, lift the lid, give a little bit, and then let it set a second, just to let them understand that we're coming in, basically. So once you give them a couple seconds, I will go ahead, as we did before, I will pop off the outer cover. Okay, we're going to double check, but I'm very sure that this feeder is bone dry. It is. There's quite a few bees in there though, probably cleaning up the residual sugars and things like that. So I'll go ahead, pry this off, get this out of the way. Very light. There's nothing in it. All right. So right away, everything's looking good. I see bees on top of the frames working. The hive looks populated. So that's the first sign that things are going well. We pull this outer frame, really nothing happening, a few bees walking around. We can go ahead and set that to the side. All right, so let's go through here and see what we can find. We'll hopefully do a pretty in-depth inspection here. So nothing really happening here. The bees are just wandering around that frame, this frame as well. So that's 3 frames that are empty. This one's got more bees on it. They're starting to pull the wax out here. You can see that new wax is being drawn. So that's good. That's on frame 4. Pull the next one very gently. Definitely pulling out the wax there. Looking great. Oh yeah, putting up nectar and pollen on this frame. Outstanding. Go on to the next one. Oh yeah, this is heavy. Bees hanging out. Some nectar being put in there. I don't see any eggs per se on this frame. It's not a real big deal. They could have this set up as a brood frame or a pollen frame. There is definitely eggs being laid on this frame. So that is pretty much all eggs right there in the center. It's looking really good. Have not seen any larvae yet, which we should see in this inspection. Okay, eggs. Oh yeah, I definitely see some larvae. You're definitely not going to be able to see them on the camera, but if you look inside some of these cells, we definitely have the little C-shaped larva present there. So that's a good sign. That means that the queen is here. She's laying eggs. She's actually right there on the frame. So I'm going to bring the frame close, and hopefully you can see she's there right there in the corner. So looking good. She's definitely got some brood. She's laying eggs. It is exactly what I would expect to see today. So let's pull the next one. Oh yeah. We've got eggs, we've got brood. It's actually a really heavy frame. Same thing here. Ton of brood in here. So what I need to understand is that with that brood in place and this being drawn out and all that, they're not going to have room to put anything else in these cells. So we need to keep that in mind when determining how should we add frames. So the outer frame is nothing. This one is half drawn. This one is drawn in brood, drawn in brood, drawn and eggs, and starting to be some stores. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got about half of this box drawn out, and they're using it pretty intently. I don't think that I need to add another box just yet. They have the outer frame there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are empty. So they still have about half of their space here. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. We've seen what we need to see here. I'm not going to add more frames today, but this will be happening probably next week. Next time we come back, we're going to see capped brood. Some of that brood will be capped. It'll be in the pupa stage. And then following that, yeah, we'll have the first generation of worker bees that are born in this colony. Yeah, this is looking really good. I see lots of pollen. These bees are just loaded with pollen. They're bringing it back. These bees are really doing great work. So I'm satisfied. I'll leave the entrance reducer at this small space so that when I add the syrup, they don't have to work so feverishly to defend a wide opening. But so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the feeder back. I'm going to fill the feeder with another couple gallons of syrup, and then we're going to let them go on about their business. So things are looking great. Go ahead and get this. Gently placed back on. Okay. And then again with the outer cover. Cool. All right, so that was a good inspection. I'm definitely happy with what I've seen here. They're definitely getting to work. They've got eggs, they've got brood that's open, so larvae, they've got pollen, they've got nectar. This colony is established for all intents and purposes. It has not had its first brood emergence yet. We're going to continue to video, so next week we'll show you the capped brood, and then the week after that we'll show you, what it's looking like with the first generation of new worker bees. So stay tuned, YouTube. Thanks for watching.